Hello and welcome my dear student. This is a new episode for English or Prep 1. أهلا وسهلا طلبات الصف الأول الإعدادي. هذه حلقة جديدة من مادة اللغة الإنجليزية تحت رعاية وإشراف وزارة التربية والتعليم. In this episode we are going to finish our last unit in this year, Unit 12, which is talking about our future. دي هتكون ختام آخر جزء من اليونت الأخيرة في السنة. So I wish the best of luck. كل التوفيق. And we are going to end this amazing unit, and let's know together what we are going to have in this episode. We are going to talk about jobs in ancient Egypt, الوظائف في مصر القديمة, and we are going to read to make predictions about the future or to predict the future, ازاي اتنبأ بالمستقبل, and we are going to have some expressing future plans, ازاي اقدر اعبر عن future plans by using some structures, التركيبات أو بعض verbs أفعال عشان to talk about future plans. Okay, so we're going to start talking about jobs in ancient Egypt, الوظائف في مصر القديمة. So it's an interesting text عظيم جدا. تعالوا نقراه مع بعض. Here it says, what job will you do when you are older? إيه الجوب اللي أنت عايز تعملها when you are older لما تكبر؟ Would you be an engineer who designs exciting new buildings? Will you be a doctor who looks after sick people? Or will you be an architect who designs new building and even cities? This will be an important jobs in the future. What are your plans for the future? Will be an architect, doctor, an engineer or architect? So let's know more about the ancient Egypt jobs. But did you know that the ancient Egyptians, هل تعرف ان ancient Egyptians المصريين القدماء did many of these jobs, كانوا بيشتغلوا بالكثير من الوظائف اللي احنا قلناها. They helped to form the world we know today. هم شكلوا العالم اللي احنا بنعرفه النهارده. Engineers in ancient Egypt designs and built a lot of things. صمموا وعملوا كثير من الاشياء like boats. These boats used to use the wind to help them travel to other parts of the world. البوتس دي كانت بتستخدم الوينز ليه؟ اللي هي الرياح عشان تنتقل لأجزاء أخرى من العالم. As we see in this picture. We're going to continue. The ancient Egyptians also learned how to move water from one place to the next. كمان المصريين القدماء اتعلموا ازاي to move water، ينقلوا الووتر من مكان to another place. This helped farmers who worked far from the Nile. طبعا ده كان ساعد الفارمرز they work far from the Nile اللي بيشتغلوا في اماكن بعيده عن النيل ان هم to move water from one place to another. We use similar ideas to help farmers today. وبنستخدم حاجات شبه دي دلوقتي to help farmers to move water. A doctor was a very important person in ancient Egypt. وظيفة الطبيب كانت مهمة جدا in ancient Egypt. The doctor used a lot of different tools. استخدموا الكثير من tools. We can see some of them in this picture. هنشوف بعض منهم في pictures الموجودة عندنا. The ancient Egyptians also had dentists. كمان المصريين كانوا عندهم dentists. In the 10th century, an Egyptian doctor invented the first kind of syringe. في القرن العاشر اخترع السيرنج اللي هي السرنجة. Today, doctors and scientists use syringes every day. يعني ancient Egyptians أو المصريين هم أول ناس اخترعوا السيرنج to cure and use it in medicine في الطب. As we see in this picture, this is the picture of syringe. Imhotep was the world's very first architect. Imhotep كان أول architect in the world، كان أول architect في العالم. He designs a new way of building pyramids using stones. هو اخترع طريقة جديدة to build pyramids عشان يبني الأهرامات، okay، باستخدام الستون. He built the pyramid at Saqqara. هو اللي بنى البيراميد في سقارة using this method، باستخدام الطريقة دي. He also used it to build the Great Pyramid at Giza. وكمان ساعد إن هو يبني البيراميد في Great Pyramid الهرم الأكبر في الجيزة. Imhotep also used stones to build columns. الcolumns اللي هي الأعمدة استخدم الstones. These columns made buildings very strong. طبعا فكرة ان انا اعمل columns خلت الbuildings very strong، قوية جدا. Before this قبل إمحطب the ancient Egyptians used mud. mud اللي هو الطمي and plants to build columns. كانوا بيستخدموا المد والبلانتس عشان يبنوا الكولونز الأعمدة. These columns sometimes fell down. كانت بتسقط. Okay? So we know from this text that ancient Egyptians had a lot of jobs that we have today, like architects, doctors, dentists. So they shape the world we have today. It continues the text that says, but every job can be important. كل وظيفة طبعا ممكن تكون مهمة. If you do your job well, لو بتعمل job بتاعتك well, you can help to make a better world. ممكن طبعا نساعد احنا نعمل الworld بتاعنا to be better. So it can be a salesperson, any kinds of job, so carpenter, etc. We all make our world better. Okay? After we've read about jobs in ancient Egypt, we're going to complete a fact file. يعني ايه fact file؟ يعني زي ورا بيبقى فيها facts about a person. ملف بيديني data أو بيانات عن شخص ما، حقائق عنه. So we are going to read a text or an interview. هنقرا interview مع بعض عشان نكمل fact file about this person، عن الشخص اللي بيتم عمل interview معاه. So let's read this interview together. Presenter, what are your plans for the future? Okay. Hussein, I have got a lot of plans. I've got a lot of plans كتير for the future. Next year, I want to play the guitar. عايز ألعب الجيتار. And before I leave school, I want to design a video game. عايز يعمل design video game. عايز يعمل تصميم لفيديو game. Presenter, wow. And what about later on? Later on اللي هو next، بعد كده. What will your life be like? حياتك تبقى عاملة ازاي in 10 years time. في الوقت يعني في زمن مدته 10 سنين. In 10 years time. حسن 10 years time I want to have a good job. حسب عندي a good job. I think I will be a doctor. I'd like to live in the city. Presenter, thank you Hussein. This is an interview with Hussein to give us facts about his future plans. We're going to fill in this fact file. البلانز بتاعت حسين. Okay. Next year, he wants to learn to play guitar or the piano. Yes, he wants to play the guitar. Before he leaves school, قبل ما يغادر المدرسة, he wants to what? To do what? Design an app or a video game? Yes, he wants to design a video game. In 10 years time, في وقت يعني في مدة زمنية اللي هي 10 years 10 سنين 10 years, he wants to be a scientist or a doctor? Of course, he wants to be a doctor. كان هو قال هو he wants to be a doctor, and he wants to live in the city or the countryside. Yes, he wants to live in the city. We're going to read another interview with a girl called Khadija, and we are going to complete her fact file. هنكمل الملف بتاعها اللي بيتكلم على بعض الداتا والفacts about her future plans. Presenter Khadija, what are your plans for the future? Khadija, well, one day I'd like to be a teacher. So she wants to be a teacher. But there are lots of other things I want to do first. في حاجات كتير عايزة أعملها أولاً. Presenter, tell me about them. Khadija, well, before I get the job, I'd like to learn a new language. Before I get the job, before she gets her first job, she wants to learn a new language. عارفين language يعني لغة. I want to learn to drive. وعايزة تتعلم ال driving. Presenter, and what will your life be like in 10 years time? هتبقى عاملة ازاي في بعد 10 سنين؟ خديجة, that's a long way into the future. دي وقت كبير جدا للفيوتشر, isn't it? نهايتها ب question tag عشان يعمل confirm أو to agree with her. ده خدناه قبل كده. لو انت عايز الشخص اللي قدامك to make agreement with you يتفق معاك فبتنهي بيه a question tag. Well, in 10 years I'll have a job in a school because she wants to be a doctor. So for sure she will work at a school. I think I will get married too. when هي هتتزوج أيضا. Presenter, thank you خديجة. So let's complete Khadija fact file. So her name is Khadija. Plans before she leaves school. She wants to learn a new language or write a book. Yes, she wants to learn a new language. She wants to learn to dive or drive. Yes, she wants to drive. In 10 years' time, she wants to have a job in a school or university. She wants to have a job in a school, correct, because she wants to be a teacher. She wants to live in a big apartment or to get married in 10 years' time. Yes, she said that she wants to get married. Okay? To talk about future plans, we use some verbs to express future plans. نستخدم بعض الأفعال عشان نتكلم على الخطط المستقبلية. Let's see some structures. تعالوا نشوف بعض التركيبات talk about future plans. I will talk about the future. هحدد ال duration المدة الزمنية للfuture. I talk about tomorrow. Tomorrow it's a future but أكيد ده مستقبل غدا. Next year, next month, next week, or in 5 or 10 or 15 years time. في مدة زمنية مدتها 5 or 10, 15 years time. Okay? I will use what? اتعلمنا قبل كده احنا بنتكلم على future plans بستخدم verb to be am is are plus going to plus infinitive. اوكي؟ بستخدم فيها ال going to و بستخدم فيها infinitive الفعل في المصدر. So I can use another thing talk about future. I want to. اوكي؟ اللي انت بتعبر فيه عن your desire or your plans رغبتك انك تفعل شيء فكان use I want to plus the verb in the base form بدون اي اضافات. So I can use I'm going to or I want to. I'd like to or I would like to ان انا بتفضل او prefer to. كل دي expressions and I can use to talk about future plans. طب future plans, let's see some examples. Okay? So I'm going to design an app, a video game. These could be your future plans. You can learn a new language. You can learn to drive. You can live in the town or a country. So I can say in 5 years time, I want to learn a new language. في مدة 5 سنين مثلا عايز أتعلم a new language. Or I want to live in the city. Or I want to travel all over the world. Okay, this could be your future plans. فبتستخدم فيها التايم الديوريشن المدة الزمنية plus واحد من الexpression going to or I want to or I'd like to واحد من البلانز دي من الخطط المستقبلية اللي احنا قدامنا to learn new language, to drive, to get a new job for example. ممكن استخدم حاجات من expressions خدناها قبل كده عن اللايف events اللي احنا خدناها in the last episodes كنا بنتكلم فيها عن life events. Okay. We are going to read about Dina's plans. هتكلمنا عن her future plans وعايزين نحطهم in the right order. But before we read her plans, we are going to read the order. عايزين نشوف البلانز بتاعها عشان نحطهم in the right order. فأقول لكم البلانز بتاعتهم and then after we read the text, you are going to put them in the right order. So A, do voluntary work at a children's hospital. اوكي عايز تعمل اعمال تطوعيه في children's hospital في مستشفى اطفال. Go to a good university. تروح ل a good university. Visit her uncle. Work in a good hospital. Study English in England. So take notes. خدوا notes to put these life events in the right order بالترتيب الصحيح according to what she's going to say. طبعا طبقا للكلام اللي هي هتقوله لنا في التكست. Dina's future plans. She says, I want to be a doctor, but I need a lot of skill to do that. tomorrow غدا I'm going to visit my uncle. He is a doctor, so he can give me some advice. Next summer يبقى هي كلمة الأول tomorrow and then next summer I'm going to study English in England. So number one, she's going to visit her uncle. Then she wants to study English in England. You need to speak good English to be a doctor. Before I leave school, I'm going to do voluntary work at the children's hospital. So she wants to visit her uncle. Then she wants to study English in England. And then she wants to do voluntary work at children's hospital. And in a few years time, في مدة عدد يعني سنوات قليلة, I want to go to a good university. Then in about 10 years time, I think I will be a doctor in a good hospital. Okay? Take notes to know the correct order of Dina's future plans. Okay? So let's go back to her future plans to put them in the right order. So which one was the first plan? Yes, she wants to visit her uncle. This was number one. What about number two? Amazing. She wants to study English in England. 3, she wants to do voluntary work at children's hospital. And number 4 was, yes, she wants to go to a good university. And the last plan, the last thing in her future plans, yes, she wants to work in a good hospital. You did a great job. تعالوا ما نتكلم على important life skill. It's called productivity. إن أنت تبقى you be able to do your job in the right time. في الوقت بتاعها المظبوط ما تأجلهاش. Okay, so we call this skills productivity. So it's important to plan your time well. مهم جدا انك تخطط وتعمل plan for your time. So plan your work for this month. انك تخطط لأعمالك في الشهر ده. تعالوا اقول لكم بعض الايدياز to plan your work. تعمل زي to do list اللي هي خطة بعمل فيها الحاجات اللي انا محتاجة اعملها every day or in this month or for this week. فحسب بقى الديوريشن تعملها for a day, for a week, for a month, for a whole year, سنة كاملة, etc. So if I'm going to make a plan for today, let's see some examples. So today, I revising for my test, watching English lessons on TV, go for a walk for 30 minutes, helping my little sister to do her work. هل في طريقة ثانية ممكن أعمل بيها؟ Yes, I can say tomorrow واستخدم فيها ال future. I will say well or I'm going to. So I will finish my project. I will make lunch with my family. I will clean up my room. وممكن أشيل will وأحط going to. Going to لأن هي أكتر بتعبر عن ال plans أو الخطط. So I'm going to finish my project. I'm going to make lunch with my family. I'm going to clean up my room. Okay? Let's have an exercise. We're going to complete these sentences with words from the box. عندي app. طبعا عارفين الاب اللي هو اختصار ل applications. It's a software which helps us to do certain tasks. اللي بخليني اعمل بعض المهام. اوكي applications على الموبايل اللي انت ممكن تباي تيكتس تشتري تيكتس انك تعمل reservation حجز etc. اي application بستخدمه على الموبايل او الكمبيوتر. Countryside and design. So what do you call something on your phone that helps you use maps? حاجة على الموبايل بتساعدك تستخدم المابس الخرائط. book tickets تحجز تذاكر etc. We call this? Yes, we call it app or application. 2. What do you call it when you draw something that you plan to build or make? الحاجة اللي أنا عايزة أبنيها أو أعملها بقول إيه عليها إيه right verb? Yes, design يصمم. What do you call the area that is outside a town or a city? المنطقة اللي خارج التاون or a city. We call it amazing countryside. Okay? Here we are going to read Khalid's plans for his future, and we are going to use this plan to put the durations. هنكمل باستخدام المدة الزمنية. Before I get a job, in 2 weeks time, in 3 months time, in 4 years time, next month. فبيقول هنا my plans today اللي هو 15th of July 2021. 29th of July finish school, August go to holiday, 15th of October start university, June 2025 pass exams, July to December 2024 do voluntary work, 2025 get a job in Cairo. So space I'm going to finish school. في أي وقت هيبقى في قد إيه duration to finish this school? Yes, in 2 weeks time. في حوالي أسبوعين. I'd like to go on a holiday. الهوليداي بتاعته كانت هتبقى في duration قد إيه؟ August تبقى next month. 3 I'm going to start university. في الجامعة yes in 3 months time. في بعد 3 شهور in October. I want to pass my exams of course in 4 years times in college. After 4 years time I think I will do voluntary work June December 24 yes before I get job. هنقرا it's a blog about predictions for the future. تنبؤ عن المستقبل by أحمد. هيقول لنا predictions you something you imagine حاجة بتتخيلها أو تتنبأها بيها فبيقول عليها predictions تنبؤات. So in the next 30 years there will be a lot of the changes in our lives. في تغيرات كتير في حياتنا. Technology will make our lives easier and more interesting. Our phones will be even more important and will have apps for everything. هيبقى عندنا applications كل حاجة. Scientists will find new cures. هيلاقوا علاجات for illnesses الأمراض. So people will live longer. Some illnesses will disappear completely. وبعض الأمراض هتختفي completely. All our cars will be electric. معظم الكارز هتبقى electric. We use electricity instead of petrol. He says if this happens it will be much better for the air. طبعا ده هيكون أفضل للهواء in our cities wanted. I don't think I will have to learn to drive. أعتقد إن أنا مش محتاج إن أنا to learn to drive because cars will drive themselves or self-driving cars. عربيات ذاتية القيادة. There will be a lot of interesting new jobs for people. هيبقى في وظائف جديدة للناس. Robots will do some of the jobs that people do today. الروبوتس هتعمل كتير من الوظائف اللي الناس بتعملها النهارده. But I don't think we will have robot doctors or teachers. ما أعتقدش هيبقى عندنا روبوتس للدكتورز or the teachers. This was Ahmed's predictions for the future. So I think there will be a lot of exciting changes in the future. Okay, but some things will stay the same. في حاجات هتفضل زي ما هي. Children will still go to school. في بعض الأطفال هيفضلوا يروحوا للسكول. Learn new things and spend time with friends. هناخد بعض vocab app which means something on your phone that helps you to use maps, book tickets. Illness. Okay. It's unhealthy state of body or mind. لما بيبقى عندك حاجة unhealthy it's illness مرض. And cures a treatment علاج that can make an illness goes away بتخلي الأمراض تنتهي. Okay. So here we had an important text about prediction about the future. In this episode we talked about lots of things. We talked about jobs in ancient Egypt. In ancient Egypt. اتكلمنا عن الوظائف في مصر القديمة وازاي they shape our future. ازاي هم شكلوا المستقبل بتاعنا or the present time في وقتنا الحالي. اتكلمنا عن بعض predictions of the future. ايه التنبؤات من المستقبل هيعمل ازاي. كملنا fact file about future plans. اتعلمنا بعض expressions ازاي اتكلم عن الفيوتشر واعمل ازاي future plans. This was the end of our last unit in this year. دي كانت آخر جزء من unit 12 ودي كانت آخر unit عندنا طبعا في الصف الأول الإعدادي. I wish you the best of luck. أنا بتمنى كل التوفيق and have a fruitful and great summer holiday. بتمنى لكم أجازة سعيدة and hope you do the best. كل we keep learning وكملوا تعلم to learn English language and I wish you a very productive summer holiday and thank you so much.